Hey, okay, so I am making this video for the Neurodivergent Creatives group. I am, as you can see, a silversmith. I do silver things with silver. And I'm going to make a really simple ring splint today because somebody asked about how to make them. There are different levels of investment in this as a craft or a hobby, or in my case, a profession. So there are about 1 trillion things that you could theoretically be purchasing to make this happen. Right here, I'm just going to use some 16 gauge sterling silver wire. This is from Rio Grande, which is one of the bigger supply houses that you can buy your equipment from. And because I already know my sizes, basically, I'm not going to be sizing this out for myself today. Normally what you would do is you would get one of those little ring sizer things, and you can actually get those at any craft store, but I actually don't know where. Wait, I found them. I was about to say I don't know where they are because of who I am as a person, but I found them. So let's say I'm going to be making a splint for my middle finger here. So I would kind of test where I want the splint to sit. Now that's a 7 because it got the big old fat fingers. But if I come back to a 6, usually they're in half sizes, by the way, but I actually don't know where my 6.5 went. It disappeared. But if I come back to a 6, that's a good snug fit. So I'm going to try and get somewhere between a 6 and a 6.5 for this. And I'm trying to use my phone correctly here because I don't usually do a lot in the way of videos. So 6.5. And then I'm going to come way back here because I'm probably about an 11.5 back further on my index finger. And that's exactly right. 11.5. That's dog hair. Here comes the dog, in fact. He's a big boy. Okay, so I now know that I need 2 circles of silver at 6.5 and 11.5. So what I'm going to do is get my silver wire right here, and I'm going to grab my ring mandrel. If you hear me getting further away, it's because I set it up for a really cute picture, but now everything's kind of gently out of reach. So I'm going to come back here, and you can see on this, I hope you can see, yeah, that is size 10, 11, and this is a ring mandrel. That's what you would be searching for if you go to get one of these on the internet. I like this one a lot. It's a big chunky one. It's heavy duty. You can get them made out of plastic, but they're not quite as good. And so what I'm doing is at the 11.5 marker right here, I am coming in and going doot around so it meets. And you can either mark that with a marker before you cut it, or you can come in and just cut both flush. Now I have a brand new, freshly cut piece there. Next, I'm going to come in at my 6.5. Sorry, I'm not usually making a ton in the way of videos in the studio, as you can tell by how incredibly messy all of this is back here. So come in, do my 6.5. There they are. And gonna snip it. Boop. And that time you'll notice I didn't really snip off much in the way of extra like I did the first time when I did this. That's probably too much extra to have clipped off. But I clipped off the extra the first time because I wanted 2 good solid flush cuts. And you can see that those are pretty flush right there. So what I'm going to do next is just kind of separate this out a little bit so you can really get a good look at what that should look like. So you see that one's a little pinched right there. So normally I would brace this, but I'm just going to show it to you like this, guys. You just come in and give it a little, because you're trying to make sure you've got a really flat spot there. And the reason you want that really flat spot is because you're trying to get a really good connection when you go to solder everything. So now we've got 2 really good flat spots. Guys, please don't judge my cuticles too harshly. I actually was just messing with them literally with my equipment in the studio, which is not good for you, probably, I guess. So what I've got here is a pair of nylon jaw pliers. Nylon jaw pliers are soft. They've got they've got nylon or another similar material on here that's going to prevent the pliers from marking up what you're doing. Now, right now, it is not important that this is a perfect circle. It happens to be a pretty good circle, but you don't have to make it perfect. And the reason why is that once you solder this, you're going to come back over here and round it out perfectly on the mandrel. And that way, you're going to end up with a perfect circle. So at the moment, all that's really important is that these meet up really nicely. And so I'm just going to kind of give it a little, back in frame would help, a little kiss to just sort of bend it so that it really meets nicely. And there, see, that is a pretty good meet. And I'll do the same for the other one. And that's a pretty good cut on that. That was the cat in the background, if you heard that. Normally I would be using the file to do the moving, but I'm trying to keep this all in frames. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, again, just bend it, and you just kind of want to get them till they sit together really nicely. You want to drop it a couple of times. You want to drop it and have it roll under something, ideally. So you can go, where did they, and then you can have to like look under the cat to see if maybe he's laid down on your stuff since you last saw it. So there we go. And that's pretty good meat. Not a great meat. I could get that better. Let's see. I'm going to come in and give it a little derp, just to kind of marry them together a little bit. Oh, y'all are married now. Congratulations. So there, that's better. So now we've got 2 pretty good circles, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera and then move it and then come back in and show you the next stage, which will be at a slightly different station in my studio. Okay.